the Conkers, whoa, being picked up. Look at that.
I'll be honest, this is not what I expected. I've been collecting these Conkers all autumn long, asking myself one question: how well will these burn in my fireplace? And in this video, we're gonna find out. Let's get into it. This is how it's gonna work. We're gonna weigh out some Conkers, we're gonna get them in the fireplace, and we're gonna see how long do they last, do they catch fire really quickly, and can we get some really good temperatures out of these, like we did with the acorns and the pine cones and the coconuts, for example.
So we've just weighed out some Conkers. We have just over 1.1 kilos of Conkers, or 2.5 pounds of Conkers.
So there's a few things you need to do before you burn Conkers. Let me show you. I remember a time 30 years ago where I used to be collecting these Conkers in the forest with my friends playing Conkers, and here I am 30 years later still collecting and still playing with Conkers. I'd love to hear some stories in the comments below from you guys. So there's a few things you need to do to your Conkers before you burn them, and as you can see, this particular Conker is fully shriveled up. Now the reason for that is it's fully dried out. Now these Conkers were actually picked last year, so these Conkers that we are burning today are 1 year old at this point. Now I can't stress enough, with any fuels, you need to dry them out as much as possible. 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, whatever you can do, the better. The longer the better when it comes to any fuel, especially when it comes to wood and anything natural like this. But you can see the composition of it. You know, it's fully, look at how dry that is. You don't find Conkers like that on the floor. So we've set it up, we've got the Conkers on the bottom, we've got a little bit of kindling on top just to get some fire in there, and we'll see how well the Conkers catch. It's going to be interesting.
5 minutes in, the kindling has caught really well. Some of the Conkers have started to catch as well now, so the fire is working its way through the kindling down to the Conkers. Whoa! I didn't expect that to happen then. That was crazy. Always keep the door closed. Top tip. Over the 5 minute mark here, we've got some real action kicking off inside of here. Let's just watch this together for a minute. Look at this. I seen some Conkers flying around in there, and you can hear the noises. I hope the noises are being picked up. Look at that.
So we're coming up to the 10-minute mark here, and the Conkers are starting to catch, and as each Conker is catching, it's kind of expanding and popping, which makes for a great effect. But if you've got the door open, it can be quite dangerous, so be really careful. But it's making like quite sizzling noises, I guess, and even though these are a year old now, and as you've seen, they are dry, when you cut these open, they are dry inside.
Just over the 10-minute mark here, and the smell that's coming off this is really nice, and the sounds and the crackling and the popping is actually really kind of therapeutic. You can see it going off in there. It's really kicking off in there.
So we're popping and cracking in there like crazy, and I will say that the smell that it's giving off is really distinct. It's kind of like a oaky, smoky kind of smell that's coming into the room. Even though the door's closed, you still get a little bit of that aroma coming through as well, which is really cool. But you can hear, I hope you can hear the popping and the cracking in there, just like I can, because I didn't expect it to pop and crack and smell the way it does.
You can see that the right hand side there is caught a little bit better than the left, but that's just because probably the kindling just dropped down a smidge there. But look at these temperatures, look at that.
Getting straight up to the 400. We're coming up to the 20-minute mark here, and as you can see, the Conkers have all caught really well. They're popping and cracking, but besides that, they're burning really clean. There's no smoke at all in there. There's nothing coming out of the chimney either. Take a look at this. This is the trick to getting your Conkers to burn as clean and as hot as mine, make sure you dry them out. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, that's the kind of time frames we're looking at here. These particular ones that we burned today in this test are a year old or so, but what's happening in there is as the conkers are kind of getting hot, they shrinking or puffing up and they popping with the heat, which is fine because just look how clean and how hot this thing is burning. You can see all of the conkers there on fire in the fireplace. We've also got some crazy temperatures. We're up to 500 already. You know, we're only 20 minutes into this, and it looks like we may get some good burn times, but we'll see. If you hate spiders and moths, did you know that conkers release a chemical that spiders and moths don't like? So I'm sure burning them, I won't get no spiders or moths tonight. So it's actually surprised me a lot by how clean these things burn, which has really surprised me. All right, these ones are fully dried out, I'll give it that, and I did wait a year to burn these particular conkers. But it just goes to show, if you prep what you're burning first, things can be as clean, and well, this one's clean, hot, and we're at the 25-minute mark here, and look at it go. So 25 minutes in, you can see the conkers are starting to turn to charcoal now. Interesting if you can use it on a barbecue, maybe, potentially. Look at the temperature, we're straight up to 500 there as well, which is really, really hot, high optimal. So when we was kids, conkers actually got banned from school at one point, I remember, because we was all playing conkers, and some people would play sensibly, some not so much. And it turned out that some kids were swinging these conkers around, hitting people on the backs of the heads with them, which obviously is not ideal in any situation. So I remember a time where they all called us into the big hall that we had, and the teacher's up there saying, you know, there's no more conkers allowed on the playground, you know. And let's just say all the kids were kind of disappointed. And I remember one of my friends got all of his conkers taken off him, and you can guess why. Moisture meter telling you how moist your conkers are. So this particular conker is 9.5 moisture. Now they say when you're burning normal wood, anything like that, it's got to be under 20%. So the fact that these conkers are 1 year old, reading 9.4 or 9.5, sorry, on a moisture meter. Just for comparison here, this is a freshly picked conker from today because I got a conker tree out the back, and as you can see, it's reading nearly 16 on the moisture gauge. And I know it doesn't sound like a lot, 9.5 versus 16 on the moisture, but that just goes to show that you don't really want to be burning fresh conkers if you can help it. Always give them time to dry out, and there's different techniques to dry them out. So one of the best methods to dry your conkers out is called natural hardening, where you just put them in a garage or a cupboard or somewhere cool like that with a bit of air around them, and over a course of 12 months or 24 months, a year or two, they will naturally dry out. But there's another way. You soak them in vinegar, but if you're burning them, you don't want to be doing that. Another really good way to dry your conkers out is put them in the oven for several hours. People harden their conkers because they simply play the conker game, which I don't see many people playing these days, but I kind of wish I did because it's very kind of autumn's year, people are playing conkers, and it's just a load of fun. So 50 minutes into the burn, it's fair to say that the conkers burnt extremely clean, extremely hot, and let's be honest, 50 minutes is really, really good, you know. It's actually a great, you know, it's actually a long time to produce that much heat for, you know. So as always, if you've got any suggestions on what I could burn next, let me know in the comments below. There's a few videos on the screen now. If you want to check me burning some other cool stuff out, they're on the screen there. I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Pow!